Yes, guys, welcome to our today's class. We are going to move forward where we stopped yesterday. Remember, guys, I was doing a recording and I had a meeting, so I was obliged to stop. And today I'm going to move forward, right? So we are going to talk about how computers or hosts. Remember, we are talking about a host, any device that can get an IP address. So it can be your phone, it can be your tablet, it can be your printer, it can be your camera. So as long as you can assign it to an IP address, we call it a host. Now, how those hosts can get an IP address, not manually, but automatically. But this time around, those IPs aren't going to be the IPv4. We're going to use the IPv6. So the whole idea of today's lesson is to show you how your phone, your tablet, your computers can get an IPv6, IP address version 6 automatically, right? So I'm going to try to share my screen, but what you have to understand for the whole lesson is this. We want to assign our host IPv6 automatically. And for us to do that, there are two ways, right, that we're going to see. Let me try to share my screen and we are going to see. Yeah. So as I said, we do have two ways that we're going to use. The first way that you can assign your host an IP version 6 is by using what we call SLAAC. What does it mean? It's stateless address auto configuration, right? So the first way, number one, what we're going to use, you can go for stateless auto configuration, right? This is the first way that you have to understand, right? The second way, you can use what we call a stateful. Stateful, but with this stateful means we are going to use a DHCP version 6. So we are going to need a DHCP version 6 server, right? Now, as I said, we want to assign host IPv6 automatically. We do have two ways, stateless and stateful, right? When you go for stateless, we call it what? Stateless address auto configurations, right? So what does it mean? When you go for stateless, means that there is no tracking. There is no tracking of IP addresses, right? So you are going to assign, your computers will get the IPv6, but there is no way you can track them, right? There is no way you can control whatever that's happening, right? There is no tracking. So there is no centralization. Centralization or no server, right? So there is no tracking, there is no centralization, right? And when you go for stateless, what does it mean? You can get your IP address, your default gateway, but not your DNS, your domain name, right? So you cannot get your DNS informations, right? So when you go for stateless address auto configurations, what does it mean? It means there is no tracking of your IP addresses, right? There is no centralization. There is no server. You can get an IP address. Your computer, your tablet can get an IP address. You can get a default gateway, but you cannot get what we call the DNS informations. Remember that DNS does what? Translates IP to domain name, right? So this is what a DNS does, right? So DNS will allow you to type like www.google.com. So instead of maybe 192.168.1.1, right? Because we call this one a domain name. So this is the IP address. But in reality, this domain name, this website is an IP address. But because you cannot memorize the IP address, so this IP address must be mapped to this domain name. But this translation, this mapping will be done by what? By what we call a DNS. So if you don't have a DNS or your DNS is not running properly, this mapping from the domain name to an IP will be very difficult, right? Now, when you go for stateful means you can use it with DHCPV6 server, right? And with stateful, you can get what? You can get your DNS, right? So what are the steps? So stateless auto configurations, there's no DNS. Stateful, you can get your DNS, right? But what are the steps, right? The steps that you need to do. So from the router, you have to enable IPv6, right? So from your router, you have to enable IPv6 by using the command. So IPv6, unicast routing. Step number 2, what you're gonna do, assign your interface like an IP v6. So, and step number 3, go to your device, go to your host, choose DHCP, done. So those are the 3 steps that we're going to be doing, right? So I'm going to give you an exercise. So I'll show you first how your computers, your host, can get an IP address by using a stateless auto configuration, right? So what you're going to do, you go to your packet tracer. So I can have a router here. So I can have a switch, and maybe my computers are here. So from here, you can connect, you can run your cabling, right? You can plug it wherever you like because we don't mind about the switch. And you can connect from the gigabit, maybe because I want fast connectivity, right? Remember, guys, from step number 1, what is it? From step number 1, so what I've said, so step number 1, we need to enable these IP routes, right? And what is the command? This is the command, right? So you can console to your router if you want. So what you're gonna do, so I will go to terminal, right? I'm gonna say no to enable configure terminal. You have to enable IPv6, right? By typing IPv6. When you forgot, you must get used to question mark, right? IP unicast. I pressed a tab in order for me to go fast. So IPv6 unicast, I just press tab. But the full command is IPv6 space unicast space routing, right? You are done. When you are done, what we're gonna do, we go to step number 2. So as I said, step number 2, what we're gonna do, you have to assign your interface to an IPv6 address, right? What is my interface? The gigabit 0/0, right? Interface gigabit 0/0. You can say no shutdown. You can bring it on, right? And you're gonna say IPv6 because we are not dealing with IPv4. I can say maybe FC00, right? Maybe FC00, maybe .1, a double colon 1, just make it short, /64, the subnet mask, or the network part, the host part. Oh, I forgot, sorry guys. Address, yep. Now, you are done, right? You can just say maybe end, right? So, and you can say show run. From the show run, when you press enter, you can see here, this is my interface. And this is what? This is my IP address. Now, from step number 3, what I'm gonna go, you must go to every host. This time around, when you go to IP, you go to network, you go to IP address. This time, you want to go for manual or static. You're gonna click where it says DHCP. So from here, so I can go to any computer, desktop, right? You can see it's what? Static. Don't go for IPv4 because we are dealing with IPv6. So static here, so I'm gonna click automatic. You're gonna see that automatically I will get what? There is my IP address and there is my default gateway, right? So the same thing, you can go to the next computer, you come to automatic and you can see your IP there, right? So this is how you can get your IPv6, right? So the exercise, my exercise that I want you to do from here, right? You're gonna do it for me. I want you to do for me this one. So Nontokoso, you are going to take it for me, to check it for me. So we're gonna have here maybe computer 1. It's computer 2. Oh, so in computer 3. There's another one here. It's computer 1. computer 2, and computer 3, and I'm gonna have like two switches. Right, and I'm gonna have like my router here, router 1, and this connected to this switch, this one connected here, and this one connected to this PC, this PC, this PC. So this is what I want from you guys. So what you have to do for me, you have to configure what? The stateless address auto configuration, right? Slaac, like here. And you're going to configure also Slaac for this one, right? You do the same thing, but this time around, you got two interfaces. There is one and for the switch number 2, right? Now we're gonna move forward, guys. The second way is by using a stateful, right? We can use like stateful with a DHCP server, right? So the step will still be the same, right? But what we're gonna do now here, right? We can create like a domain, create like a domain. We can precise what? The DNS, right? We have to, we are going to check also the network discovery, the network discovery protocol, right? So what I'm gonna do, if you notice here, guys, there is no DNS. You can see it's empty, right? For this computer to have DNS information, so what I'm gonna do, so first, so I'm gonna create a domain, right? IPv6 DHCP. Remember, when you forgot, guys, use the question mark. So it's IPv6 DHCP pool, but when you press the question mark will tell you what is missing here. It's what? Spool. When you press again a question mark, they will tell you it's a word. So I can say Saba. Right? When I'm done, you can also ask, so after this one, what can I put next? Question mark. They will tell you those are the options that is missing there. Right? So I can say domain name step, domain name saba.com. You press enter, right? Now, remember, guys, we need a DNS server, right? This DNS server, we have to point it to the IP address, right? So I can exit, I can take, oh, there's already an IP address. I think so. Yes, there's already an IP address. Yeah, there's already an IP address. Let me just go back. Oh, okay. I'm gonna go to this command, and I'm gonna go to this one because there is already an IP address. DNS server, you're gonna point it to the IP address. The IP address was again what? FC. I can check it above here what we put it. It was Yeah, FC 1, right? There is no. So what I've done, I just repeat it like the same command and you precise your DNS or server, right? From here, you are done. You can exit, right? Now we have to go to that interface. It's interface, gigabit 0/0, right? From this interface, right? We can say IPv6 DHCP question mark. We want it, this interface, to be pointed to the server. Server's question mark, we're gonna put the word. What is the word? Your server, it was what? It was Saba, right? You can see it here. It was Saba. Yeah, Saba. Okay. You press what? Enter. Right? But from here, you have to enable what we call the network discovery. Right? For you to enable the network discovery, you can say again, it's IPv6 question mark. You're gonna see it here. ND. Because of the network discovery, your computers, your hosts can get an IPv6, right? So you can say ND. When you forgot, you can say question mark. We're gonna use this one. You're gonna just say, oh, you press tab and you press what? Enter, and you can say end. Show run. You can see that all your configurations are here, right, from this interface. So let me try now to see if my computer can get an IP address. Right? Oh, you can see already there's a DNS there, right? And when you go here, you can see there is already like a DNS. So this is how you can get IPv6 automatically, right? But remember, guys, most of the companies, the majority of the companies don't use yet the IPv6, but you have to know how to manipulate IPv6, right? Just for your own knowledge. But most of the companies still using what? IPv4. Only the largest companies or maybe the government that goes for IPv6. So there is no need for to waste more time on that, as most of the companies still using IPv6. Thank you very much. And besides even going there, I would give to you an exercise, right, that you have just to do in order for me to be sure like you understood what I've done. So this exercise will be like this one. So we're gonna have a router here, right? This router gonna use the stateful, and this router will be connected to this switch. The switch one. Switch one will be connected to some of the computers here. Going is a problem for me. And this switch also will be connected to switch number 2. And switch number 2 will have also some computers there. And here you're gonna configure for me the stateful. Morning, everyone. Yes, guys. So you can just practice, guys, in order for me to make sure that you understood what I've explained. Thank you very much.